Hey guys, Dick Muncher here, level 3 CPA. What we saw last night was actually the best thing that could happen to UCLA basketball, which is the beginning of the end. Mainstream media, the casual fan has caught on to Cronin's antics, and it's fine you win when you're winning. Look at Dan Hurley. But what's happening now is just disgusting. It has no place at UCLA or at any respectable basketball program. And the people in charge would be wise to clean house sooner rather than later. The longer we keep Cronin around, the more mediocre we're going to be, and the less recruits we're going to get. We need a clean ship now and get a head start on the coaching search.
Boy, how are you doing, Mick Cronin, loyalist?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. It was quite the night, and now we are a laughing stock pretty much across the country.
Well, on the good side, this is the most content and relevant content that we've gotten to work with in quite some time since we got a new football coach. It's been kind of a whatever basketball season. Now we have something to record and talk about at length.
Yeah.
If you've been living under a rock, Tuesday night, UCLA was basically trailing by 30 almost the entire game, or at least close, to Michigan State, at Michigan State, and then with under 5 to go on a fast break, Stephen Jamerson commits, admittedly, a pretty hard foul. I've seen way worse, but a hard foul nevertheless. Mick Cronin immediately pulls him from the game. To the UCLA bench, grabs a fistful of his jersey, and then personally takes it upon himself to eject his own player on the road in front of a hostile crowd, makes him walk the length of the baseline to the locker room. If I read his lips correctly, it was, "Get the fuck out of here." And you thought that the press conferences that we've been chatting about over the last few weeks and kind of over the course of this season, and honestly over the course of his entire career, at least at UCLA, you thought that was a shitstorm. This is probably the most negative light UCLA basketball has been in since China. I
forgot about that.
That's got to be the last one where we've been making headlines in this light, I guess. And I think it's completely deserved. I went live last night. Did you listen to me go live on the Instagram?
No, I didn't catch it.
Do you get the notification when I do that?
No, I don't think I have Instagram notifications.
I used to go live all the time on the Instagram. Thank God I don't.
Is that just spur of the moment?
Oh, yeah. It was only for bad stuff. Although I did go live during the Final Four, Gonzaga. Going to overtime, I went live, and that was really fun. Every other time I've done that, I think it's been when I need to,
vent. Blow
off a lot. Yeah, I went live, and I basically was saying what everyone's already heard 1,000 times at this point. It's just, I think it's completely ridiculous. It's unacceptable. It's the opposite of what good leadership looks like. I've defended Mick and his pressers and his shtick probably as recently as the last time I was on the show. But this is just the only thing that surprises me is how there's still a collection of UCLA fans that are still siding with them. I don't see how you can watch what unfolded. Is it East Lansing, right?
Yep.
East Lansing on Tuesday night and think that this guy has a future coaching UCLA. And to be honest, man, coaching at any level, anywhere in basketball. But just to kind of give my initial thoughts on it, I thought it was fucking terrible. And I think if UCLA wants to either find the money or maybe take it's a lot of money. You saw what happened with Kansas State, and they're kind of trying to take the for cause angle to get out of a similar situation with a large buyout to fire a basketball coach. We'll see if UCLA maybe tries to play that angle. I don't know, but as of right now, it seems that the vast majority of UCLA fans and the national media and anyone that follows basketball thinks that this has way run its course. It's gotten out of hand, and yeah, I'm saying it on the air. Mick Cronin absolutely needs to be fired and needs to part ways with UCLA basketball. Curious what the Mick Cronin loyalist has to say and if you're in full agreement or not.
I think last night was just a real turning point. I've supported Mick. I've thought that after the Alfred years, we didn't really have much direction when it came to basketball. I know that he had the Hawkeyes run and he had those great teams, but the last 3 years have really just been nothing but average or even below average when it comes to UCLA basketball standards. So last night really felt like, if there wasn't, the buyout, last night would have been the end, 100%, because it could have been like a tarmac situation. I mean, if I was the AD, I would have called them, I just really don't understand, how he talks about hustle and pride and, having this sort of like bulldog mentality and being cutthroat. And then we're down 30. The last thing you want is a dude just slamming it home on you again. And, Jamerson goes up, commits a foul, a common foul. Nothing
it was going to be a
malicious.
Common foul.
Yeah, nothing ridiculously malicious about it. And to be honest, I only think that it was upgraded to a flagrant because of what Mick did.
I fully agree with that.
100%.
Yeah.
But just to remove him and completely embarrass him, his family, and, just everyone involved with Stephen Jamerson. And I think it even is worse considering that was a homecoming for Stephen Jamerson. I don't know if you saw the story of him trying to walk on there. And,
I think that has actually gotten past a lot of people. Everyone knows Xavier Booker's the former Michigan State guy. But, I think a lot of people are either forgetting or not knowing that he went to school at Michigan State his freshman year.
Yeah, went to school at Michigan State, tried to walk on the team. Didn't happen for him. He also tried to become a manager. Didn't happen for him. So I think he goes back to Michigan State. It ruins the story.
Yeah, and not to interrupt, but I think that freshman year at Michigan State almost kind of shows who Stephen Jamerson is. I've never once heard anything about him being a dirty player in practice. Certainly never from what I picked up in games. And to hear that the guy was essentially a glorified janitor at Michigan State, asked to be a walk-on. That didn't work out. Tried to be a team manager, and that didn't work out. It shows the guy is willing to, climb the ladder and start from the bottom. He's a high-character guy. I've heard nothing. I mean, you see his high school basketball coaches coming forth from Crespi, saying Jamerson was the man. He's a please and thank you kid. Nothing but good things to say about him. So it's one thing if, look, this is a Reeves Nelson kind of guy that's been at UCLA for several years. He's been a problem, and the coach snaps, and half the fan base is like...
Could have been a Mac ETN type deal.
Exactly. And this just is like, of all people, Stephen Jamerson, it didn't really make any sense. I think Mick almost did himself a favor because all we're talking about right now is this, the situation with Jamerson. No one's really talking about how, even if you remove that entirely, the road trip... both games, Michigan and Michigan State, excluding like the 1950s. I'm not even counting that. In UCLA basketball's modern history, this was the worst road trip ever. It was back-to-back losses by, I think, 30 plus, and they were complete no contest. The Bruins were completely outclassed in both of the games. It's getting kind of overshadowed by this circus that took place on the sideline. So at least Mick can thank himself for that we're only talking about something like that and not what he's actually paid to do, which is put forth a competitive team. I mean, we can talk all night about how disappointing this team has been, but the Michigan State road trip, man, is as ugly as I've ever seen it. And I think I saw that it's the worst road trip since the 1950s. I didn't even know that they did road trips in the 1950s in college basketball.
How do you even get there?
Yeah,
planes by that.
They might have been. But it was a covered wagon.
Yeah,
presented by Westcom. Kyle, really quick, you mentioned on your last little spiel just now that this was kind of a turning point. I'm almost kind of trying to think of like what are some other examples of other coaches. Like this is kind of, in my opinion, like his sideline meltdown with Jeff Ulbrich versus Oregon.
Yeah. I think I saw a tweet of that last night of something similar.
I was going to tweet that.
No, I think I saw something of that nature, but
this is way worse.
I can't even comprehend or even like put my mind to the fact that they still have to play basketball. Like how as a team,
I don't know.
Are you still even like rallying behind this guy. And to be honest with you, I watched obviously Mick's presser last night, but I also watched the one that we posted with Bilodeau and Sky Clark, and I've never. Bilodeau does the post game pressers. Sky Clark does them all the time.
Yeah.
I've never heard them that sort of just like defeated, blank stare on their face, almost just like there was nothing left in them. So I don't really understand how you can play for the guy, to be honest with you. I think it's going to get worse. Obviously, we welcome Illinois Saturday night in Pauley, so they're another top 10 team. We still have Nebraska to play.
And you still have both USC games.
Both USC games. So, I mean, personally, I don't think this team is making the tournament. There's Q1 games still left to play, but I mean, you drop another 3 and you're pretty much done. You're sitting at 13 losses or so.
Yeah.
So I don't really know where you go from here, but this was definitely a breaking point.
I would just die to know what the post-game locker room was like.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're that guy's teammate, I mean, I know we've heard, honestly now, it's somehow Mick has been a player's coach and they like him. We've had David Singleton on the show where he's on the current coaching staff. He loves Mick. And Jalen Clark, he just kind of came forth on Twitter saying, can't speak to the current situation, but I always thought Mick was a stand-up guy. Granted, that's the only guy that's really done it.
Yeah.
We've heard nothing from Jaime, nothing from Tiger. No other former players have really kind of come to his defense throughout all of this. I don't know if you saw this, though. I guess, sports influencer posted some like Instagram reel and was like, it's like Mick Cronin is trying to get himself fired was like the main headline.
I saw that.
Adaimara liked that post.
Really?
And that's kind of the first time we've seen someone publicly. I mean, granted, it is Adaimara, and there was a lot of speculation as to how that split went over. But there's a public example of a former player of his being like, yeah, I guess kind of fuck this guy.
I do think that if there was ever a time and, to potentially have a former player lash out or speak of stories or things publicly, this is. But you're not. I bet you there's many reporters reaching out to former players.
There was an article that was posted about, we've heard that it's worse in practice and behind closed doors. Mm-hmm. Granted, I haven't read the article, although I would have heard if former players were looped into that and quoted. Because there hasn't been anybody. This would be the time for someone to come forth and be like, yeah, you guys should hear what he did in this one practice. And no one's really said that. I'm almost kind of beginning to wonder, is he just a master at creating a sense of Stockholm syndrome on his teams? Because I'm just you can only imagine that it is worse in practice. If that's what he's doing on the sideline, dude, it has to be worse in practice.
100%. And I think the biggest part of that last night, forget the Jamerson. We haven't even talked about just the sheer almost just disrespect of human on human to the media. I mean, we've known that he's always had his antics in the media, and he cuts people off all the time. He doesn't allow them to finish their questions, things like that. That's never really been a big deal to me. But just the last night, that just really rubbed me the wrong way. Of that's not who you want the public face of your basketball program answering questions
of the University of UCLA.
Yeah. I mean, just answering questions the way that he did, and I mean, I gotta know that was a Michigan State reporter, right? I mean, Ben Bolch was asking a majority of the questions, and then all of a sudden, that individual, whoever it was, chimed in. So, I actually had a Michigan State beat reporter in my DMs last night asking me about Mick. Yeah, just like,
all right, big time.
If I knew anything about him, we just sort of exchanged messages back and forth about how crazy last night was, and that was that. But just insane how he dealt with that. Yeah,
the question, if I recall correctly, it really wasn't that bad.
It wasn't crazy.
No, it was what were your thoughts on what the student section was saying to Xavier Booker? That's a pretty routine question when you have one of your own players coming back to his former program to play. That would be like the first question in some pressers, you know? And I wouldn't be surprised if that was the first question that was asked.
And a very generic answer would have been,
we tune that out. We don't hear it, you know?
Or, we don't hear it. We tune it out. It was a great gesture. Move on. It could have been that easy. But one part about this that really sours me and was, I think, kind of the biggest reason why I didn't really need time to think about it and be like, you know what? Yeah, he's way in the wrong. For me, it was the fact that it was done on the road because his player commits a hard foul and the crowd's already rabid. They're up, they're blowing us out, they're packed, they're having a great time. And Jamerson commits a hard foul. Their guy gets up, understandably upset. They kind of square up and go face to face. So they're hostile.
Yeah, they're on his ass. And the fact that Mick essentially sides with them and fans the Flames at best by grabbing by the jersey and putting forth those optics while the crowd is already jeering at the guy more than they have all game. And then you're going to do that there on the road. What's rule number one of being a coach or a leader? Protect your players. Mm-hmm. You could argue that he put him in a pretty sketchy position by making him walk the baseline 5 feet from these fans that already
could throw something at him.
Their player just tried fighting him. He committed a hard, kind of semi-questionable foul, and then you're going to make him walk the walk of shame down the baseline after you grab his jersey and read the guy's lips saying, get the fuck out of here. You're putting one of your players in a pretty bad situation there. Yeah, I mean, things being thrown.
Coach Savage would always talk about the dugout and how the dugout, you had to treat the dugout like a bunker.
Yeah.
Like you were at war and you were in a bunker, and like that's sort of where when you were on the road.
Your foxhole.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like that's your sort of band of brothers, and you sort of ride with them in there. And I was just thinking like Mick completely did the opposite of that. He sent them out into war, out of the bunker. You're solo. You have no weapons. Just go
in a no man's land.
But yeah, and I just man,
it would have been one thing, Kyle, if like we wouldn't even be talking about this if Mick was just like that was such a stupid foul to commit. I really don't think it was that bad, but if that's what he thought, brings him over, sits him on the bench, tells his assistant, get him out of here. We wouldn't even be talking about this.
No.
And most of the crowd probably wouldn't even noticed it.
Do you remember last year? I think we were playing like a Minnesota or Indiana. It was a home game, and Sebastian Mack like kneed someone in the nuts or like elbowed someone. Like,
where was Mick for that?
It was a straight flagrant too.
Yeah,
it was.
And he did that several times. He did that several times, Sebastian.
That was at home. I mean, he never lashed out like that.
I mean, that
would have been the perfect time.
Yeah,
to do so.
Kind of a narrative that's prevailed over Mick's time here, and that has kind of put him in unfavorable ranks amongst a lot of UCLA fans, is that he has his favorites and he has his doghouse. And he has come forth to deny that he has this quote-unquote doghouse. But how is this not a total testament to that theory? Because, yeah, you've got your guys like Sebastian Mack that got way more playing time than they ever should have gotten given the style of basketball that he played. It was ridiculous that we had a channel on offense to Sebastian Mack. No discredit to him as a player. He played hard. But it was Mack attack ISO ball, and it was so ugly to watch. But he was a Mick favorite, and he need guys in the balls. And nothing ever happened. Mick's in a bad mood because he's getting back-to-back clock cleanings, and he's going to take it out on Steven Jamerson, who has never done anything remotely. That was probably the dirtiest play we've ever seen Jamerson commit, and it wasn't even that bad.
It wasn't even crazy.
No.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame to say the least, and I don't really know where we go from here.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a reason that we don't know where we go from here, because in a normal situation, in a competently managed athletic department, this would be grounds for termination right now. And right now we're talking about the upcoming UCLA coaching search and how UCLA finishes out the season's kind of on the back burner. But instead, because there is a $20 million buyout that UCLA now has to potentially come up with the money to pay to get rid of Cronin, because for an inexplicable reason, Jarmond once again, with another inexplicable contract extension for an underperforming coach that was seemingly carried out in the darkness of the night through 2029.
4 years. 4 years.
That just couldn't make less sense.
Off of a round of 32 loss where we finished fourth in the Big Ten. I mean, I will say last year's Big Ten season ranking is very deceiving because we had a lot of people under us help us out. And UCLA gets the benefit of getting to play Washington twice, Oregon twice, and USC twice every single year.
Yeah, and they still get bounced from the tournament. And also, why would that be a 4-year extension? Mick has made it very clear. He I mean, give him his credit. He values the job at UCLA. He reveres it. He takes it very seriously, and he's always made that very clear. He did not deem me as at risk of leaving. So why is that not a 1-year extension at UCLA for missing the tournament 1 year, getting bounced in the round of, was it 64?
32.
32 against Tennessee by getting wiped off the floor. Yeah. How is that possibly a 4-year extension?
I genuinely.
Where is Jarman? Why is he not? There needs to be some type of pressure for him. Or Daley Bruin. Somebody's got to get in front of him and be like, given the situation we're in right now, walk us through the steps. How we got here? How did we come to this number of when it comes to money, the duration of the extension? How did we come to that? The length of the extension, I mean, because just looking at it from the outside, it could not make less sense.
From the results, you take a look at the recruiting class. There's nothing really there. I mean, high school recruiting. So,
I mean, you think about recruiting. Speaking of recruiting, that's why recruiting. I think now it's like, dumb decision aside, you need to find a way to make this, whether it be do what Kansas State did or find the money. Who are you going to recruit to play for this mess if we don't take action, or if UCLA doesn't take action?
Well, and what I was talking about I was messaging Ethan last night after the game, and we were sort of exchanging some texts, and one of the things I mentioned to him was now what's going to happen is everyone's going to look at the example of a Daimara, and it's going to be what happens when you leave UCLA like Daimara did. And Trent Perry is going to hear that. And, Eric Daly and individuals are going to be like, hey, I can leave UCLA and, end up at a place like Michigan or, Arizona or UConn, whatever that might be. And, be in the NBA draft, be on the number 1 team in the nation, and just completely turn your situation around versus playing for a dude who is just, ripping you 24/7 on the court, screaming, like just sort of a circus, right?
Yep. I mean, the what's the phrase? The hens are coming to roost. What is it when you're starting to like have to face the consequences of your actions? Some things are coming to roost. No, am I not saying that right?
I'll look that up for you. I've never heard that one.
Find it.
The chickens have come home to roost.
Yeah.
Past mistakes or wrongdoings, negative actions have returned to cause problems or consequences.
There you have it. Now it's time for me to eat some crow because I've been a defender of these press conferences over the course of the year, and I've been saying, well, it's justified because of X, Y, Z. But what it was all season, dude, is UCLA's head coach on a weekly basis being painted as this complete asshole. And then it comes to a complete T against Michigan State, and now the narrative is complete. What is there for UCLA to sell to recruits? Because do you think NIL is going to improve after this season, that people are going to want to give more to Mick Cronin if he's retained? Absolutely not.
One, and I don't know if it fits here, but one positive I think that we've gotten is from last night, from this road trip. Tyler Bilodeau is going to play a long time in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
good player,
great player.
Yeah.
The NBA is going to fit his game so well. He's going to be a matchup nightmare a lot of the times, and he just scores. I mean, I was just laughing last night. It was comical to me how in the game he was, how he kept his composure, stroke. He's just such a good player with all the shit show that is going on around him. He's just continuing to put in performance after performance. So it's the one positive I have from this road trip.
But that's a two-sided coin because what a season he's having, and it's being completely wasted, and also he's not receiving nearly the attention in the media for it because UCLA has been an irrelevant team all season long. It's been completely wasted.
He should be first team Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
he won't be though.
He's leading the Big Ten in 3-point percentage. He's, I think, at 87% free throw shooter.
When you and Ethan were talking, because you've seen the graphic where UCLA, I think, has the top 3 3-point shooters in the conference by percentage, and yet are they last in the conference in 3-point shots taken?
It's last or second to last, something like that.
Bro, I have never claimed to be a Nexus nose guy in basketball, but I know that is bad coaching and bad game planning. It doesn't add up at all. You have top 3 and you're last or second to last?
Yeah. I mean, Sky Clark is 48%. I think Bilodeau's like 40. I mean, Sky Clark doesn't qualify because of the time he missed and stuff like that, but I mean, Bilodeau's probably got hundreds of attempts from 3, and he's like 47%, 46%. So, yeah, doesn't add up. I'm very interested to see the reception that Mick Cronin gets on Saturday night in Pauley.
That might be the only real reason to go is because they always, unless, could you imagine if the PA announcers told let's not introduce Mick Cronin at the end of the starting lineups. Yeah, that's his standard protocol. He announces the starting 5, and then it's the head coach of your UCLA Bruins is Mick Cronin. Boy,
that's gonna be. I'm very intrigued to see what.
If I can't make it, I am commissioning boots on the ground to pull their phone out and record.
I'm gonna get a recording of that. I'll be there at the game, so I'll get something.
Isn't it? It's kind of funny and ironic that the week Mick goes viral for this PR disaster is the same week that Bob Chesney goes viral for preaching to the team about learning the omelet guy's name.
Yeah. Just the exact opposite.
Every time I see that clip from whatever account, there's some
What's his name?
there's some soft piano playing in the back. It's just it's very poor timing for Mick because right now Cowboy Bob is winning over the hearts and minds of Facebook moms in America, and right now on the flip side, Mick Cronin is probably the number 1 villain in American sports.
100%. Did you see the there's a tweet today with a compilation of Mick Cronin pressers where he's complaining or doing this. It's 3 minutes, and it has the one shining moment on the background of it.
That's pretty funny.
It's so good.
Yeah.
But
isn't it also it's such a shame because this was also today on Wednesday was the day that it was announced that UCLA basketball, men's and women's, is going to be featured in 2K.
Yeah.
Poly Pavilion and everything, which is really cool. Donovan Dent's in it. Lauren Betts is in it. All real players. They looks like they got the Courtright Joe Bruins in it, which is so cool. But that's just the last thing on my mind right now. Though I will be buying that and playing it. I don't know how to play those games. I'm not a 2K guy, but I'll be playing that.
I definitely played that one as a kid. I think we're one of 20 teams or 15 teams.
It's 15 or so. There's some random selections in there. I don't know why Ohio State got the nod.
Yeah,
that's kind of random.
Yeah, but that's pretty cool. I mean, I've followed the women's team this year, but it might be time to just get fully invested on a deep run there because this isn't really going anywhere at all.
Yeah, we might be a gear switch. Primed for a gear switch. I get a lot of flack for, and probably a decent amount of merit to this. I don't give the women's team enough attention, whether it be on the Instagram or the podcast. Look, I have waited my whole life to see a national championship in men's basketball. It has been a in football, obviously, of course. It's been a fixation of mine. It's I need to see it happen. I'm a dog chasing the cars. And that fixation is so mentally taxing on me, and it takes up so much of my time. I already have a job during the day. To then just drop that, something I'm so attached to then refocus on women's, they obviously deserve exponential levels of more attention than the men's do, but I don't have the mental bandwidth right now. Though right now, why would I want to cover the rest of this men's season when women's are looking like they're primed to make a deep run? So
yeah, I think they only have, I want to say 2 games left on the entire season. I think it's a little shorter, a week shorter than the men's. So yeah, I mean, if you look outside of what we've talked about, there's some exciting stuff happening in Westwood. You also got the baseball team. I think that's going to be a fun watch.
See, that's up to you to 'cause like you have my ear. If there is something that I need to post on the Instagram or on Twitter, be in my ear, because baseball needs so much more love out of SBS. So
yeah,
they deserve more love. I'll own that. Yeah,
they got a good series this weekend. They get TCU at Jackie.
I'll be going. I'll be there.
You going?
Yeah.
Which one are you going to?
I don't know. There's 3, so I might go. I might even go to 2. I'm down for Friday.
Yeah, I was thinking of going on Friday potentially, because I'm going to be out Saturday all day. Marley and I are going to the Genesis Invitational at Riviera, and then straight over to Poly. So it's going to be like a full day Saturday. So I'm stoked for that.
Kind of a side note, football spring ball schedule was announced, and the spring game is back, and it will be on, I think, May 2nd. Yeah. All I know is that it's the first weekend of May, which is fantastic, because in years past it's been during Stagecoach weekend, and I'm nowhere to be found in LA during that time. I am going to do my best to get some people out to the spring game, because I think that has been such a lost opportunity really since the Mora days. Spring games can be a ton of fun.
Yeah.
It's when you're hungriest for some football, anything. And if he's been truthful in how much more access he wants to give compared to his predecessors, it could be a really fun spring to follow UCLA football, get to know the players, and it kind of comes to an apex at that spring game. If the athletic department can make it worth, hopefully, I'm praying it's at the Rose Bowl.
Oh, we have they're going through the renovation, so maybe.
Yeah, no, you're right. That won't happen. They are doing the renovations. Damn it. They used to do it at the Rose Bowl, and it was a blast, because you could tailgate and treat it like a little mini game.
It'll be at Drake, 100%. It's gonna have to be at Barney's.
Which is kind of fun, though, because you get to almost kind of cosplay like a fan of a program that has an on-campus stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Live in this fantasy world for a day for the spring game.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Well, I'll be there for that. I think we've made our point.
Yeah.
SBS is off the Mick train. And it's sad to say, because he's a guy throughout the majority of his time here I have honestly admired, with the reverence he's shown for the brand and just his style of leadership. Not always, but most of the times. He brought UCLA to a Final Four, and he did a lot of things right, but I just think Tuesday was unacceptable, and I can't see past it. And I hope that this era ends a whole lot sooner than later. But, yeah, unless you got anything else, Kyle. That's all I have. And hopefully next episode we've got more baseball news for you. We've got more women's basketball news for you. And who knows, maybe we've got some earth-shattering seismic basketball news breaks. Who knows?
That would be nuts.
You never know.
Maybe we'll break it again.
Maybe we break that he's been fired, or UCLA wins out and we go to the Final Four.
That would be a trip.
Wow, what a moral conundrum that we'd be in if that was the case.
Seriously. He'd be re-signed for a lifetime contract at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. Shout out to the one caller that did call in to the SBS hotline. We're going to start the episode with you, and we'll catch you next time. Go Bruins. Love you guys.